Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Art World Confessions. Today I'm going to speak about a subject I know absolutely nothing about, and this is how museums work, like the Tel Aviv Art Museum. I sent the article about them rethinking their donation by Ingrid Flick because of the fact that the money came from a legacy of Nazi crimes. And again, I'm not Jewish, but I certainly have a lot of Jewish friends, and I have a lot of friends in the art world who are Jewish. And the thing that Jewish people and people of color have in common is that at some point in history, they can all point to the fact that they were ostracized or that they were made to feel less than another. And in some ways, that does bind us in art and in the world in general. So some of the names, they mentioned in this ArtNet article, I won't even get into the names, but some of the people who helped to establish the Tel Aviv Art Museum, I have come across in the past, and they are generally Jewish people who have become extremely wealthy through one thing or another. They haven't been these Austrian, or let's call them Aryan women who got money from some means other than their own work. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great that they do this stuff with money, that they support all of these causes, whether they're art or whether they are health or whether it's, whatever it is, philanthropy they want to do. But as one guy who was mentioned in the ArtNet article, he said this is a way that they use philanthropy to, washing machine their reputation, to clean up their reputation. And sadly, this is true as well. I mean, I can think of many other names like that where the money wasn't gained in the most kosher way, but then they started things like a wing in a hospital, or they started some other charity, and all of this so-called philanthropy really is just feeding back into their pockets, whether it's in terms of cleaning up their reputation or whether it's in terms of getting a tax break. I mean, if you ask me, all this philanthropy is just what really counts at the end of the day is like they said once, a poor person giving $25 out of $100 check that week, that's really charity, because that $100 is all they have and they will feel the lack of that $25. If you have 25 million and you're giving $25, well, it's not as big of a donation as the poor person next to you. But getting back to the whole idea of philanthropy in the art world, just a few years back, when they had the whole brouhaha about the Sackler family wing and the money that they had given over the years to these institutions and the opioid crisis. I mean, at the time I was really supportive of the idea as well, because I thought, okay, this is just cleaning up of dirty money, of money laundering in one sense of the word. But if you think about it, the whole opioid crisis was even bigger than them. If you think about how it trickled down to, I watched this movie the other day, which was called American Pain. And you look at these guys all through Florida who started these clinics and just reamed these poor addicts for every dime, in turn themselves becoming super wealthy guys. And of course, it took a long time before the state turned around and made those pain clinics, illegal. But once this whole mindset of let's make money based on other people's pain continues, we can't have a healthy society. We can't have a healthy world. I mean, if you think about how business is run, and someone was saying the other day, or the guy who wrote the book, The 48 Laws of Power or something like that, he's like, you can't expect to have the same personality for work as you have with your friends and family. You can't expect to be the same person, to wear the same mask. If you ask me, I think it would probably be healthier for us if in some way we could evolve beyond those Machiavellian 48 rules of power. I mean, the fact that our society hasn't evolved from that stage of evolution is why we're in the state that we are today. The state with the art world, the state with the environment, the state with personal relationships, the state with, everything. It's because we still are thinking like those lower base animals. Anyways, I didn't necessarily want to go off into that tangent, but needless to say, it would be good if people regarded money not just as a tool for self-enrichment, but as a tool to make society a better place for everyone, whether it's in the art world, whether it's in the world of healthcare. I mean, there's so much money spent on so much dumb stuff in America, not to begin to talk about wars and stuff like that. But we really have to, as a human race, get to the next level of evolution and figure this out. On that note, I never thought of mentioning this, but for the next election, I'm voting for RFK Jr. And I've thought long and hard about him over the last 2 or 3 years because, I've always known of him. He's a former colleague of a close friend of mine. And during the pandemic, I really started paying attention to the work he was doing in terms of not just healthcare, but free speech, and how much work he's done over the years to champion all of the things that make a healthy society, whether it's farming, whether it's the arts, whether it's getting homeless people off of the street, whether it's addiction, whether it is, any subject that you can think of that would help society and bring people together and build a stronger country. He's been working on it behind the scenes. And in fact, it's not necessarily so much behind the scenes, because over the last few years, all through the press, and we see it these days, even more so, all through the press, the mainstream media, he's been pillarized. They've just, gone to town on this man who has done selfless work for so many years in this country. And now that people have said to him, you should run for president, and he thought long and hard about it, he's actually doing it. And he's probably the only president that's going to bring this country together on all fronts. Everyone else, again, these career politicians, they're out for themselves. They're happy to say one thing today, do something else tomorrow. But he has been doing something else yesterday that he shows he's going to do tomorrow. So he's actually been doing the work that he's talking about doing. Not like these guys who promise things and then they'll show up and do something else. I think in terms of someone with integrity, there's no one with more integrity running for president of the United States than RFK Jr. So I hope you go out and vote. All the young people, the more they pummel this guy, the more people open their eyes and see that, listen, if they're banging this guy so much, it must be because he's doing the right thing. And the powers that be are just nervous as hell. So, he speaks to me, and I hope he speaks to you as well. If you're from the upper echelons of society and you feel like your pocketbook is being threatened, well, too bad for you. Anyways, I hope you like this episode. Please share this video with others. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the bell notification button so you know when next I upload another episode of Art World Confessions, and enjoy the summer. Have a great week.